Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Unmasking Humanity. I'm your host, Joshua T. Berglan, and I'm thrilled to have you here today. This show is all about peeling back the layers, removing the mask we wear to reveal the raw, authentic humanity beneath. It's about asking the tough questions, sharing the untold stories, and connecting on a level that goes beyond titles, accolades, and resumes. Because at the end of the day, it's our humanity that unites us, inspires us, and drives us to make a difference. For those who don't know me, I wear many hats: media innovator, author, filmmaker, and above all, a passionate advocate for youth empowerment. Through my work, I've dedicated my life to amplifying voices, telling stories that matter, and creating platforms that empower others to do the same. I've written books like Media Company in a Box, A Guide to Building Your Own Media Empire, The Bridge to Media Empowerment, which dives into the intersection of media, mindset, and personal growth, and my international best-selling book, The Devil Inside Me, and its award-winning companion film that explores the darker sides of human nature, winning and its resilience to overcome them. Let me say that again. The Devil Inside Me and its award-winning companion film explore the darker sides of humanity, human nature, and the resilience it takes to overcome them. You'd think I'd know my own intro by now. But my true passion lies in empowering the next generation. Through my work with youth and media empowerment centers, I've seen firsthand the transformative power of giving young people the tools to tell their own stories, to own their narratives, and to step into their power. Because when we empower our youth, we're not just changing lives, we're shaping the future. And that's why I'm so excited about today's guest. She's someone who shares the same passion for transformation, innovation, and empowerment, but through the lens of education. She's a trailblazer in the world of EdTech, a visionary who's redefining what it means to learn, grow, and thrive in the 21st century. Her work isn't just about integrating technology into the classroom, it's about creating a future where every student has the tools, the opportunities, and the support they need to succeed. So without further ado, please join me in welcoming the brilliant Dr. Rehana Lynda Mohamed, educational consultant, instructional designer, and creator of the groundbreaking Estream curriculum. Dr. Mohamed, welcome to Unmasking Humanity.
Good afternoon, Joshua. Thank you so much for having me on here. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. Truly blessed and grateful for that. Can't thank you enough for allowing me to be a part of this opportunity. So thank you very much for that. I'm truly blessed and grateful for this opportunity.
Well, you're almost stealing the first question by saying you're grateful for that. So I'm gonna ask you really quick before we get into the 21 in questions. And it's quite fitting considering the wall behind you is a gratitude wall, and you're already grateful for being on this broadcast. But I would love to know, what else are you grateful for today and why?
It's funny that you asked that because one of my students came up to me earlier part this week, and he asked to give him some things about being grateful and gratitude and all of that. So I started with the book, The Magic. So I shared the magic with him. And I told him, if you want, we can start the gratitude challenge. He's like, sure, let's do it. So we actually started the gratitude challenge today. And out of that, every day you have to write 10 things you're grateful for. And it has to be done in a specific order. You have to list what you're grateful for and explain why. One of the things that I wrote, and I'm truly blessed and grateful for, it's not only just my family, that's a given, but all the opportunities that God and the universe is opening up for me and my family because of Estream and all the people God and the universe has aligned me with on this journey. It's just truly amazing. A blessing in disguise. It just happened that everything is just put in place at the exact same time and at the right moment. So that right now, today, it's one of the main things I am truly blessed and grateful for.
I love that. That is a beautiful answer. I'm also really glad that in the gratitude practice, you're emphasizing the why aspect. One of the gratitude hacks I learned several years ago that made a huge difference, that really helped me get gratitude in my heart instead of just saying it like, oh, I'm grateful for the sun. Why? Well, because I can get a tan and look like Ricky Martin. What do you want from me? No, like that. But like to get in and ask why. Like, why are you grateful for that? And then just keep asking why until you can't answer the why anymore.
Hmm.
And so sometimes you can be on one thing of gratitude, but you could spend 10 minutes on it. But
Exactly.
the point of it is that you're getting in your heart. The why aspect of a gratitude practice is crucial. So the fact that you're teaching your students that is amazing. I love that.
Yeah. Every day they come in, they grab a post-it and they know they have to grab the post-it. I am grateful for, and we have so when it fills up in the back of my classroom, I transfer it and I put it all over in my classroom.
I love that. I love that. Well, I'm excited that your students are doing that. Of course, I know some of your students quite well now and absolutely love them. So I think they're going to enjoy these 2021 questions as well. But Dr. Mohamed, are you ready for your 21
Yes,
questions?
I am ready as ever will be.
Good. All right. Well, question one. If you had to, if you had to describe the essence of Estream as a person, what would their personality be like and what would they care about most?
Estream as a person, illuminating the world.
Ah.
That's
What would
exactly.
they would care most about illuminating the world? Is that your answer?
Yes, illuminating the world. And the reason being why I would say illuminating the world, it's because it has all of the 21st century skill sets, mindset, technology skills that the students need. Plus, it has the UNESCO 2030 goals aligned with it. So it's teaching them about our environment, all the aspects where globally we need to focus, climate change, all of that is also involved and embedded into it. And it starts from kindergarten all the way to high school and scaffolds on each other. So illuminating the worlds.
That is a beautiful answer. And that was actually a really challenging question. And you did quite well. So you're going to do really well with the rest of these. All right. Question two. Was there a specific moment in your life when you realized education needed to change and you were the one to help change it? What did that moment feel like?
A specific moment in education that needed changing, as when I became an educator 20 plus years ago, education at that time started evolving when technology became available. And as you see technology evolve from then to now, you knew education needed a change. But it wasn't until recently where things started changing and shifting. And I realized that if we don't educate our children in the proper manner, they're not going to strive, not only in society that we live in, but once they come out of school and go into the workforce, they're not just competing against other students, other people in the workforce from Miami-Dade, Broward, Florida, United States. They're competing on a global aspect. So they need the skills to compete on a global aspect. So that's when I realized education needs to change.
That's a dadgum good answer.
Mm,
Huh.
Why no one came up with this idea prior to that? don't know. My daughter asks me all the time when I started out with Estream, why I didn't come up with Estream when she was in school. I told her I wasn't ready for it. Technology wasn't available for it then.
No,
But that's how it came about.
I love it. I mean, I couldn't do what I do without the technology that's available today. I mean, for 10 years of building, building what was inevitably going to be what I was working with, I couldn't have completed it or made it available to the masses without the advances that we've seen in the last year and a half, 2 years. Like that's been the game changer for me. What happened in the last 2 years? So I totally get it. Like I wish I could have had this solution 20, 30 years ago, but it wouldn't have made sense then. So I completely understand that. Question 3. If you were not an educator or EdTech strategist, what unconventional career path do you think you would have taken and why?
Honestly and truly, honestly wanted to become a garbage collector. Here's my rationale for that one. Bear with me on this. Early hours, finish working like about 5, 6 o'clock, had the weekends off of that. And at that time, they were making like about 50, 60,000 a year.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's not what I would have thought you would have said.
No joke. High school, I honestly and truly graduated with a GPA of 1.56. You should see the expression on your face.
Well, I'm just like, I'm going, wait a second, you're educating our young ones and you're a doctor? What the heck? What? Hold on. I got to add this question now. This is not part of the plan. What changed? Like, how in the world did you go from, I want to be a garbage collector to, I want to have my doctorate in education and educate people all over the world? How did that happen?
My daughter actually found one of my report cards hidden in a book from high school and asked, how did you get a C in PE? I told her, I said, the question you should have asked me is, how often did I go?
Oh my gosh. Well, we have something in common. I didn't want to be a garbage collector, but I didn't mind digging through people's trash to find treasure. I had no problem with that. But I wasn't smart in school. I hated school. I cheated. That's the only way. I think I cheated in kindergarten and didn't stop. It was awful. And so it's so weird now that I love education in the way that I do, but I'm an advocate for educating people and educating in a way that is nurturing their gifts, talents, and their natural born gifts. And of course, intellectual property is not something you discuss much with kids, but they have certain passions and desires and gifts. And I believe we should shape education around people's natural gifting and learning style. They're doing it in China, which I know you just got back from there and spoke at an event there. Like they're using AI to customize education. Like that's the way education should be done because we all learn differently. And I didn't know I was smart until after I left school. It's amazing how that works.
Same here. I didn't actually get my act together until literally my master's. When I started my master's, because my bachelor's, I was into college life. My master's, when I was doing my master's in education, had my 4.0, my PhDs, both of them 4.0. That my master's was when I actually realized this is what I want. I need to get my stuff together and focus.
Well, and you did it. So kudos to you. Golly. All right, let's go to the next question. I'm just in shock right now. I don't even know what to say.
You also have 2 visitors as well. You have Anthony and Kesh.
Hey, Anthony, what's up? Who else is there? Keshner's there?
Keshner, yes, sir. Your favorite interns are here as well.
What's up?
Hey, Mr. Joshua.
How you don't call me Mr. Joshua. How y'all doing? You're tall. Well, maybe you just sit next to her. How tall are you guys? You look like giants.
I'm like 5'8". I don't know.
They're both taller than me.
It,
Okay, so I'm going to stand without heels on.
Okay, I got to see this. This is not part of the 21 questions, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. So I'm standing without heels on next to these two boys.
They look like grown men.
Exactly. Now I'm going to put my heels on, and you will see why I wear heels all the time.
Oh my goodness.
See?
Oh, that's how you
Difference
ladies
now.
do it. Okay, I see what's up. How funny. All right, let's get back to these questions. But we have a cheering section now. This is even more fun.
Yes.
All right. And no pressure on me. The good thing I'm not nervous. Anyway, imagine I am a little nervous. I don't get nervous. I've done 700 of these. You don't think I'd be nervous, but here I am. Okay, imagine it's the year 2050. What does a typical classroom look like, and what role does technology play in it? How close are we to that vision today?
How close?
Well, yeah, first of all, answer what does a typical classroom look like in 2050?
Boundless classroom. And we're even closer to that than you think.
Explain that. Explain what that means to the audience who may not know that terminology.
A boundless classroom. So I can be on my boat in the Keys, and Anthony could be at his home. Keshner could also be at his home. And I'm their math teacher. They'll have the Oculus on or whatever VR headset they are choosing to use. And in their class, using those devices, I will teach them math. That is a boundless classroom.
Well, hopefully they're graduated before the year 2050. Just saying.
Yeah.
I know you're using an example. I was just kidding.
But children from all over the world can join that class with me as their math teacher from anywhere around the world. Me in my boat down in the Keys. And they will get the content from me wherever they are in that boundless classroom.
That's what I'm talking about.
That technology, it's coming. It's in the works. So by 2050, imagine that to a whole different level.
Yeah.
We'll probably even have it in space. Who knows?
We'll be on Mars taking math. Wow. That is one of the things, and you all know about Media Company in a Box. I'm not trying to make this about me, but in that book, I specify how teachers are going to benefit in the fourth and fifth industrial revolution the most. And one of those is because of what you just said, the boundless classroom and the opportunity to homeschool, the opportunity to cater education towards learning styles, allowing people like Keshner to be able to say, you know what, I don't like that teacher. I want to learn French and math from this one, and then I want to learn AI from this one, and choose. And that teacher could be in China, Afghanistan, it doesn't matter. It could be anywhere. And with the technology, with instant translation, you could be learning from someone who doesn't speak English, but you're hearing it in English.
Exactly.
And this is the opportunity, like teachers in this new world that we're heading into, teachers are the ultimate entrepreneur. It is, because education and entertainment are blending. Everything's blending, but the part that matters the most is education. And it's my belief, the reason why education is going to become so important is because it's our job to help the people behind you, for instance, be able to build the new world that we wanted to be in. Like we're the ones that get to break all the generational curses. We're the ones that get to do the healing journeys. That's our role. And then we educate and teach the younger generation so they get to build and live in the world that we wanted to, because they've learned from our mistakes and we've learned from our, ancestors' mistakes and our parents and grandparents' mistakes. So education is key. So even someone like Keshner, who could right now start a business teaching people how to edit videos, believe it or not. Like he has a unique editing style. That's a business he could go in teaching other people. Are there people more advanced than him? Yes, but not everyone's ready for that. and like your kids, your students that I've worked with have already shown the entrepreneurial spirit. They've shown that they're smart and they have a lot to offer. They're ready to go in business and they're still in school. But
See,
that's the role that we get to play. Go ahead.
Estream in action.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's illuminating the world.
Through education. I love it.
Education.
All right, let's go to the next question because I'm going to have too much fun talking to you and we'll be here for 4 hours.
That's what Amina
I
said.
should have just had a conversational show with you, but I got to do the 21 questions. Okay. What's one creative or artistic activity that helps you recharge and think outside the box when you're designing new learning experiences?
Music.
Ooh. Explain.
My go-to thing, it's music. I'm a rock and country girl.
Like, wait, Merle Haggard country or the new stuff? Like Beyonce country?
It depends on the mood and the mind frame that I am in. Amina knows the day that I'm blasting Metallica, just leave me the hell alone. That's one way. There's days when I just need to clear my mind. I'll just drive down to the Keys. There's different mind frames that you're in, and to get your head right, I need certain type of music. But when I'm sitting on my laptop and working, I'll always have rock and country music playing.
Huh. That's too distracting for me. The words distract me. I'm a music with no words guy.
Really?
I'd listen to a Keshner beat though. Yep. I would. That's interesting. Yeah, and rock music just makes me too angry.
There's
give me
days
some
when
dirty blues.
Yeah, those days when I'm upset and Amina hears Metallica blasting, she knows I had a really rough day. Just leave me in my space until I get that out. Yeah, that's how she knows.
That's interesting. Huh. I got to think about what my cues are. All right, let's go to the next question. Can you share a story about a student, and it can't be the ones in the room?
And not the ones in the room.
Can you share a story about a student who taught you something profound about teaching or life? And what did they teach you? And it can be them. I was just kidding. I just don't want to inflate their egos any more than it probably will get inflated today.
That's a hard one because every day you learn from your children. Okay, so let's just do the lesson that I'm working on right now.
Okay.
Genially is a presentation platform that we're utilizing in our classroom. And I'm using it to teach area and perimeter and all of that. So they're creating their own Genially presentation to show me the perimeter and the area of different things. High schoolers are creating their own backyard oasis. Middle schoolers are designing an animal enclosure. Lower middle school is redesigning my classroom, and they have to add the perimeter and the area. I know you're able to add voice to it.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're able to add music to it. How to do all of those things on Genially, I don't know exactly how to do it. But one of the students came and she showed me, she's like, Miss Mohamed, this is how you add your voice. This is how you can upload the music to add to your slide. So it's every day I learn from my children. And these are things that I can utilize in presentation slides when I need to create presentations. And this was just this week.
I love that. I find that I learn more from kids than I do people that are adults. And I listen to a lot, when I say kids, younger than me, like youth. Because I mean, I still look at myself as a kid sometimes, even though I have gray hair. And anyway, great chest hair.
I still tell people I'm 4. You know that.
But it's amazing the wisdom and the lens that they see life through compared to us. And I don't know what that is. Maybe jaded, maybe time, maybe just growing up in a different time era. I don't know what it is, but like when I just shut up and I listen to some of the things that are being said from people that are students, like your students' age, I'm just amazed at what I learn. And I also like it because it makes me feel like I'm staying younger than my body is telling me I am. And I like that too. That's a good answer. I like that. All right, let's go to the next question. What's one thing about yourself that people would be surprised to learn given your professional persona?
Surprised to know about me. Do we get personal on this or no?
Well, the show is called Unmasking Humanity.
There's days that even though we have the magic dust of gratitude and there's some days that it's difficult and it's overwhelming, and it's not just it's not the fact that I'm truly blessed and grateful for everything. And Amina would tell you, when to keep your personal and your work life separate, it's very difficult to do that. And to come in here every day and put on a smile and there's mornings when I would sit in my truck, and prior to coming up here, I'll break down and I'll cry prior to coming up here. But when I come up here, it's a whole different person they see.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell the kids, I said, once I walk through this door, I leave whatever I have at home. And once I walk back out that door, I leave what I have here at here. And they know my classroom is my home away from home.
Mm.
So they treat my classroom as my home. They respect that as my home, my space. And they know they walk through my door, they're my children.
Mm.
I probably didn't even answer that question completely.
You answered the question. You answered the question, but I'm going to ask you a follow-up question that's not planned. Wouldn't life be easier if you could just be yourself in your
So we can.
Your audio got lost, but I was able to read your lips.
self? How'd that happen? Oh, okay. My question, for the sake of audio and the transcript, isn't life easier? Wouldn't life be easier if you could be authentically yourself inside of work and out? Or would it be more complicated? I don't know.
You have to separate it.
Hmm. Interesting.
And the reason why, because your work is work and personal is personal.
Not mine.
Well,
My work is personal life. I mean, but the world that we're heading into, there is no separation of that.
no,
There's gonna
there
be no
isn't.
secrets.
Because
How do you separate that then? Because those rules are going away. Like however that was set up in society, to me is mind blowing, because it seems exhausting to have to shift gears, and that seems to be part of the mental health crisis we have in this world. So like if you were sad, my Uber driver today was like, I could tell he was down, like could tell he was down, and I kept hammering at him, was asking him questions because I wanted him to talk and like get it off of his chest, and he was trying to hide it. Come to find out, before he started work, his wife told him she wanted a divorce. And imagine somebody having to sit with that all day long. all day long. They're in their car driving, having to put on this happy face, pretending that everything's okay. But inside they're dying because the person they love the most or whatever, or maybe he did something stupid. I don't know. But the fact is, like, it's eating him. And the longer that rotten feeling stays inside of him, that energy becomes like a vortex and just sucking the life out of him. And then everyone that comes in his car. But if you address it and get to talk about it, what if you get set free from it immediately? Like, wouldn't your students who said that this is like home for you, wouldn't it, like, if you told your students, like, I'm kind of having a crappy day, it's like, dog died and whatever happened. Like, if you share that, like, what's wrong with being honest about that? I'm curious because I don't know. I don't know that part.
There really isn't anything wrong with sharing that with them, but I guess because they're children and I see them as being two, you don't want to put that burden on
He's gonna shave today. He had a full beard last night. He had a beard. He shaved. You see him as two. He's taller than you too. I'm just kidding.
Remember, I'm 4. I see them as 2.
I hope you two took offense to that.
They don't.
Just...
They honestly don't. But there's days like I would walk in here and some of the children would see that I don't have that magic dust of gratitude on, and they'll ask if I'm okay. And of course I'm fine.
Okay. All right. I was just trying to play Dr. Phil for a second, and I'm not very good at it. Let's go to the next question. If you were to create a playlist that represents the spirit of Estream, what 3 songs would be on it and why?
Oh, definitely some Nickelback would be on there, and Brantley Gilbert.
Who?
And what particular Brantley Gilbert? Which ones of those songs? I have no idea. What of those? That's a hard one, but definitely Nickelback and Brantley Gilbert.
Okay. Well, that's 2.
And Jimmy Buffett.
Math.
Gotta stick some Jimmy Buffett in there as well.
Really?
Yeah.
That is, I would have picked some house music. I don't know why, but okay. It's your answer, not mine. All right. If you could design a classroom with no budget or no technological limitations, what would it look like? And what's the most futuristic feature you would include?
Can I have both of these boys answer that one? Or I have to do that?
Yeah, you can do that. You guys answer.
Go ahead. Tell them what you want. Because this was actually one of the projects they had to do for my class.
Oh, that's cool.
So start talking. What did you guys put on there?
Wait, you can repeat the question.
Futuristic classroom. I know we had a gaming console in here.
Money's not an option. What's the classroom that you would look at that you would want? Money's not an option. And what's the most futuristic item you would want in that classroom?
So for me, I like the way I did it when this Mohamed gave us as an assignment. I made sure there was future type of chairs and desks and gaming console, like a big gaming console for kids who are done with their work and stuff. And then with the biggest, what you said again? The biggest,
there was no budget, so.
But the thing that I'll put to stand out the most is a big type of those little objects you can see through.
Ledgers?
Yeah, basically those were a big globe that's moving around at the middle of the classroom.
Oh,
you talking about a disco ball?
Nah.
No, not a disco ball.
Something
like a disco ball. It's a projector.
Oh,
from the ceiling. It's a cube, and it projects from all angles.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Oh, that's a cool idea.
Yeah.
What would you do with that though? Like, what learning experience would you have with that kind of item?
Do you know how many things I can do with that?
I want to hear from him. This is not your question anymore. You took yourself out of it. And then Anthony, you're next.
Honestly, I wouldn't want it to only show like the maps, like the work continents and stuff like that, but like I want it to be able to like show everything, like where I could change the pages and stuff like that. So if I wanted to go on YouTube, I could just push it.
YouTube is too.
Yeah.
I dig it. I dig it. Anthony, what about you?
First, I gotta say this. We gotta get some high-tech chairs, floating chairs. I'm sick of these regular chairs. It might sound crazy, but we need better chairs. It might sound crazy. Second, we gonna get technological glasses, which means like we could see like the virtual world just through the glasses. Put these on different world, and you could like move it around. Like you could make stars, planets.
VR.
It's basically like VR. You control the world.
Bringing the 3D into the classroom.
You control the world.
Ooh.
And the teacher will have like the monitor, like a high-tech monitor that monitors everyone in the virtual world, like keeps them safe, just in case something happens.
I like that idea.
That's real. I think that's really happening though. Like that's a real thing.
Yeah.
That's no dream. That's happening. Yeah. I like that. This is exciting. This is a lot more fun than I thought it would. I mean, I thought we were going to have fun, but I didn't know we were going to have this much fun. This is great. All right, let's go to the next question. I guess whoever wants to answer it can answer it. Yeah. No, actually, I do want this to be Dr. Mohamed's question, but if you all want to chime in, go for it. Who was the most influential mentor in your life, and what's one piece of advice they gave you that you still carry with you today?
Okay, so I've always been the daughter who, whatever my parents wanted me to do is what I did. I fairly lived my life like that. When they wanted me to go to nursing school, I did that. My career choices wasn't really my career choice. I realized nursing was not for me. I was only able to transfer 9 of my nursing credits into education when I decided education is something that maybe let's try this, see if it's something I would like. And it wasn't until Thanksgiving, not last year Thanksgiving the year before, that I was giving an opportunity for JFK STEAM. It's now Queen STEAM. And I wasn't sure if it was something that I wanted to do. And I was told, Ree, it sounds like it's going to make you happy. Do what makes you happy. So that's do what makes me happy. So this was not last Thanksgiving, the Thanksgiving before, 2023. Spring break of 2024, I was also given the opportunity, awesome job career, to run Bronx STEAM. Wasn't sure what to do. Deciding, debating, I was told, that's a no-brainer choice. And my heart was still conflicted about that decision. And I was told, did you hear what you just said? Your heart is not setting right with that. So do what your heart is telling you to do.
Yes.
So those were the 2 best advice I was ever given in my 4 years of my life. Do what makes me happy and do what my heart tells me to do.
Amen to that. Amen to that. That's the best advice I would give someone. Well, maybe a couple other things, but that for sure, because I believe that leads us to our destiny. And And it leads us to the purpose we are creating. Yep. That's the only one that comes with promises attached to it, I believe, is when we choose the life that our creator created us to live. I love that. Next question. What's one challenge you faced in your career that you didn't see coming, and how did it change your approach to education?
Challenge that I faced in my career. Being an educator in this time and age, you're faced with many challenges. Challenges from budgets, from parents, administrators. How has it defined me as an educator in the past 20 years of doing it? You have to adapt to the changes that are thrown at you. If you don't learn how to adapt to those changes, you're not going to make it. And it's not even in education. I believe it's in any field. If you're not able to adapt with any change that comes at you, you're not going to make it in any career.
That's right.
And I teach the children this all the time. And recently, since Estream has been implemented at the school, with the skill sets and mindsets and the technological skills that Estream is driving into them, by the time 2027, World Economic Forum already predicted which of these jobs are not going to be available and is going to start declining by 2030, and it will no longer be available, and what will be replaced with those jobs. And that is why Estream is teaching them these skill sets from now. So I also stress that into them, that if they're not able to adapt to change, they're not going to have jobs in the future as well.
Yeah. That's 100% true. And that's actually true for the adults that are not in the room too. That's true for
Yes.
teachers. That's true for attorneys. It's true for doctors. It's true for you name it. People have to be willing to go with the change. And this change that's coming is going to be disruptive. And your students, like to some degree know how blessed they are to be in your classroom because you're such a forward-thinking teacher that is preparing children for the future, preparing the youth for the future in ways that other educators are not. And it's disturbing to me because they are not being set up for success. They're being set up to be slaves. And there's not a better word for it than that, because that's what it will be. Because in the same breath that people talk about those changes with the World Economic Forum, Media Company in a Box and the Bridge to Media Empowerment came from studying the United Nations and the World Economic Forum's plans for the future that came out in 2015. That's where it started. That's when I started preparing for it. And it's been alarming to watch and look in my social media feeds and see how media illiterate people are. And I use media literacy, and it's not even so much about media. Media is a vehicle, it's a medium. All of the media technologies that are available to us are what drives our business, that drives entrepreneurship. We use media, that is the vehicle to get our messages out, to get our products out, to get our services out. But yet, so many people are trapped in this social media box without thinking of the bigger picture of what's at play. They're falling victim to what social media wants you to do, when in reality, we should be duplicating what the social media companies are doing for ourselves. What do you do on social media? You build community. You want to keep people there. So you add things like on TikTok, there's games, there's shopping, there's movies, there's entertainment, there's education, there's STEM. LinkedIn has games, there's now movies, there's talk shows. Like all of these X is a banking app now, or will be a banking app. It's going to be a phone. There's community there. There's groups there. People run businesses. We should be creating platforms that are offering the same thing. Like we create our own worlds and our platforms. That's the future business model. There's these platforms, and where we provide our value, our intellectual property, and the people that know this and are prepared for this are set up for the future, but everyone else is going to take universal basic income. But don't think that that free money is free. It's going to come with a massive price. And that biggest price is your freedom of speech, your freedom to operate freely, to do what you want to do what you're led to do. Educating the kids the way that you are is setting people up for success so they don't fall into that useless eater category that so many others will. And I don't say that to be insensitive, but when you contribute nothing to society, you are useless. And I don't mean that again to be insensitive, but that's true. But you're preparing your kids to provide value for the world, and that's why your students will be successful.
I tell them all the time. I said it's that take it or leave it mentality. You either take what we're teaching you or you leave it. And if you leave it, there's nothing else that will be readily available for you. You're going to come back if I'm still here and say, Ms. Mohamed, I wish I'd listened to you.
Well, I know that those two behind you listen to you.
Yeah, they don't have a choice.
But I see it in their actions. I see it in the way that they talk. They get it and they're doing it. So that's why I'm such a big fan of you. I mean, I'm a big fan of you because I've gotten to know you for the last year. But but the fact that you're not just talking the talk, you're doing it, and your students are grasping what you're teaching, because I get to see it when I work with them, and that's exciting. All right, next question. If you could leave behind one lasting impact on the world of education, what would it be, and how do you hope it will be remembered?
It's Estream.
And that's a big legacy to leave.
It is. Yesterday, Amina and I went on a call with a lady I'd met at FETC in Orlando, and she was just throwing ideas out on which direction we can go with Estream. And she brought up one aspect. There's this one company I'd applied to work for them. Got turned down so many times by that company. I think I turned in like 8 or 9 resumes and applications, and they kept telling me I wasn't experienced. I didn't have enough qualifications. I didn't have enough experience to work for them. And when she mentioned that company's name, and she said that they only have 30 lessons right now that they are marketing as AR, VR lessons. And you're telling me what you have an EdTech studio on EdMaker, you can generate hundreds of lessons. I said, yes, we can generate over hundreds of lessons if AR, VR is what you want with Estream built in it. She says, and you know that this company was standing right next to you, opposite you in the immersive room at FETC. I said, yes, I know. And they also turned my application down like 9, 10 times already.
I relate to that in my own way so much.
So Estream is the legacy that I will leave behind, because I know what Estream is doing for education and for educators, built on the EdMaker platform with the EdTech studio.
Love it. That's a great legacy to leave. If Estream were a superhero, what would its superpower be, and how would you use it? How would you use that power to transform education?
Superpower. Wow. Estream superpower be, gentlemen. You're a Flash fan. I'm a Wonder Woman fan.
You can create your own superhero, by the way.
I actually had a power.
Yeah, if Estream had a power.
Like spreading knowledge.
Spreading knowledge.
They have power to change the world. That's what it is.
Power to change the world.
Yeah, that's my boy. Good job, Anthony. That's a good answer.
Power to change the world.
And it does.
Yeah.
That is a very spot on answer.
Exactly. Power to change the world.
I love it. And the other thing that I would add to it, it's adaptability to educate, to teach, to equip. It's a very adaptable system that you've created.
Mhm.
So all learning styles can benefit from it. And that's, to me, the deeper way that it can change the world is that, again, not everyone learns the same, but yet this information is the critical information that kids need to know moving forward, and even to adults for that matter. But like the adaptability of it, the fact that it becomes almost a universal application is a superpower in itself.
Yeah, because on the EdTech Studio platform, the teachers can adapt it to dyslexia, hearing impaired. We're working to add neurodivergent in there. So, yeah, the power to change the world.
Estream really is its own it's its own superhero.
It is.
It's its own superhero category. So kudos, Anthony. Great answer. All right. What's one hobby or passion of yours that has nothing to do with education, but somehow influences the way you approach your work?
Hobby? Gardening.
Ah, so how does it change? How does it influence the way you approach your work?
There's always sunshine and flowers in everything that I do.
Oh. I believe that. That's a good answer. All right. What's one bold prediction you have about the future of education that might surprise people, and why do you believe it will happen?
Boundless classroom will be available prior to 2030. So we're in 25 now. I would say by 2027, you'll see the use of boundless classroom evolving. But before 2030, boundless classrooms.
I think it's possible it happens even sooner. But I'm not going to tell you why I think that.
No, I have a pretty good idea why.
Well, not going to go there right now.
Yeah, because I know there's in the works of some things that we're working on.
Yeah. All right. We'll go to the next question. If Estream were a recipe, what would the key ingredients be? And what's the secret sauce that makes it work?
So the secret sauce would obviously be me.
I'm glad you said it.
That is a mixture of my Trini in me, the Brooklyn in me, the Floridian in me, with the whole Miami Latina, all of that mixed in. The American part, the Amina was born here. Oh, I have to put the Guyanese part in it too, because my dad is Guyanese. The Indian culture, because my grandparents are Indian. Just
Goodness,
a
I bet
mixture
your
of
holidays are
everything,
fun. I need some
Just
more culture. I need some more culture in my life. I need to go back to Miami.
yes, come back down.
Gosh, I miss
So
the weather there and the people but yeah, go ahead, continue. Sorry.
that is the mixture of everything put in, and all the people who stand behind me to make all of this possible. You have everybody from EdMaker. You have people from Megaminds. You have Microtron AI. You have you. You have Jessica VR.
Hmm.
All of these people who stood by me from the beginning when Estream was just the thought and the concept in my brain to there's so many people who've stood by me from the beginning of this. There's Wiley, Terrence, Eric, Johnny, so many people. Amina, God alone knows Amina, how much Amina has helped me through all of this from the beginning. All the days that I've getting it copyrighted, everything. Everybody who stood by me through it, they all make up the Estream.
That is such a beautiful answer. One of my favorite things about you is you're literally the most grateful and appreciative person I've ever met in my life. I've never met someone so kind. And I know your gratitude is sincere because you recognize how challenging the journey has been and that you could not have done it without the people that played even a small role. Like, you acknowledge the people that play the smallest roles in your life in helping you along your way. That to me is the sign of somebody who truly understands gratitude, because they get it past, oh, you gave me $1 million. I'm so grateful for you. Like, it's like, this person just gave me an opportunity to share my story. And for that, I'm so grateful. Like that, because understanding that it only takes one right meeting to meet the right person. It takes, like, every opportunity matters, no matter how small it may seem. Sometimes it's those small, little, tiny, somewhat irrelevant seeming opportunities that end up changing our life when we go into the big opportunities thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to be in a Super Bowl commercial. This is going to change everything. I'm going to be an A-list actor or whatever it may be. Because that's what I thought when I was in a Super Bowl commercial. Like I was on my way. It didn't work that way. But actually what it was, to be in that Super Bowl commercial, I was an extra that showed up ready to go. And because I showed up ready to go and I knew how to position myself next to the director, I ended up getting bumped to a principal role and got a main part in that commercial. That's what I was grateful for. But I also, in the back of my head, thought, oh, now I'm going to make it big. And I didn't. But anyway, this is about you. My point is that you truly, truly get the essence of what the journey is about. And it's doing the little things right, being appreciative along the way, being grateful for what you do have instead of focusing on what you don't. You are a beautiful example of that, and I wanted to acknowledge you for that.
Thank you.
Your microphone went out.
Oh, I said thank
There
you
you
so much for that.
No,
I greatly appreciate that. Thank you.
you're welcome. Next question. Can you share a time when something didn't go as planned in your career as you thought, and how that failure ultimately led to a breakthrough?
So many.
Pick the most
So,
recent one.
most recent one?
Mhm.
Most recent one. Um, prior to coming to the school, I was promised do you really come? He's like, you ready to come? He's like, I wanted you to come here. You first open up this school. He's asked me to come to the school since they first opened it up. And every year he would ask me to come. And when I realized that the administrative role at that school wasn't actually going to open up for me, I called him and I told him, I said, is the position at your school still available? He's like, Ree, you ready to come? So I didn't even interview with anybody. He just told me, he's like, just come fill out the paperwork and we're starting on this date. So that opened up the opportunity for me at this school. I brought in STEM and STEAM into the school. And from STEM and STEAM, I took it to Estream. So when one opportunity at another school didn't open up, I took this school to a whole different level.
I freaking love that. I love it because every one of my failures, and there's been a lot, if I would have succeeded in any of those failures, had those failures been replaced with success, I would not be doing what I'm doing today. And what I'm doing today is exactly what I was created to do. But it took every one of the failures collectively to form it. Because if I had become successful as an actor, then that's what I would have been doing. I wouldn't have learned the full spectrum coach and have been able to tap into all of the different gifting and the talents and the ways that I wanted to express it. All my failures collectively added up to one giant success that's now ongoing. So I 100% relate to that. Your journey, and I've gotten to know you again over the last year a little bit more as time has gone on, and it's like we're on the same trek. You know, we have different paths, it would have had different journeys that have now intersected a little bit, but we're still on our own journey. But the experiences, even the family dynamic, so similar. So I mean, other than seeing you as a friend and a sister and a colleague and all those other things, you're a source of inspiration and someone that fuels my journey, because I know I'm not the only one going through it, you know? And it's nice to have people close to you like that you can go, all right, cool. She's grinding, she's pushing through, she's got a good attitude even in the struggle. Okay, I can too. Let's keep going. Good answer. All right. If you could instantly implement Estream in one country or community anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
It would have to be back in Trinidad. My home country, my home island. And it's something that I'm trying to work on. I have to reach out to the lady. I told her that I would reach out to her next week. So that is where you have to start from home.
I 100% agree with that. I 100% agree with that. I don't want to make this too much about me, but I want to compliment what you said. I was speaking to a group in Africa last Friday. And in the message, the feedback that I got that I loved more than any feedback, not great speech, none of that stuff. It was seeing people say, you mean I don't have to leave Nigeria to accomplish these things? I get to do it at home. And because community is so much is one of the underlying things that what I'm teaching is about, is I want to restore community and family and not just change the world, but community matters and our home matters. And so seeing that for people is exciting for me, because I understand immigration's a thing and some people want to and have the desire to live other places. I get that, but some people are forced to, or they feel like they have to because there's no opportunity. And that's sad to me, because I don't think any of us really, really want to leave home. You know, at least maybe for an adventure, maybe for vacation, but to have to leave somewhere is a gross feeling. And so I love that answer for you, because there's so much truth in that. And I think it's very, very powerful. Okay. If Keshner, Anthony, in 20 years in the future, they were to thank you for your work, what would you hope they'd say about how Estream has impacted their life?
Honestly, hope that the words would come out from their mouth saying that it made them better human individuals on a global aspect. Not just as a person, but as a whole.
Mm-hmm. That's freaking good.
Because Estream is supposed to teach them as a whole the mindfulness, the gratefulness incorporated into the education as well. So I hope they come back and say, thank you for making me a better human individual.
I love it. Good answer. All right, last question. If you could sit down with your younger self, just starting out in education, What would you tell young Dr. Mohamed about the journey ahead? And what would surprise her the most about where you are today? Bad time to freeze.
Wow.
There you are. Okay.
Younger version me. Could be, this has to be rated G version, right?
I don't know. Keshner's got a potty mouth.
Honestly and truly, I think all the dumb stuff that I've done along my life brought me to where I'm at. So I think all those dumb things I did, my lesson in that and what I would probably tell my younger version of me is, if you're going to do this again, don't do it this way, but do it that way, so you won't get caught or something like that.
Fair enough. I don't. Okay. I mean, yeah. No, I needed to get caught. I was gonna die if not. I needed to. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I appreciate that. All right, Dr. Mohamed, this has been way more fun than it should have been. I
We did it in less than 2 hours, because Amina said knowing you and the way you talk probably take you 4 hours.
I had to stop myself too, because I prefer the conversation part, but it causes me to tremor more. So the questions, I do it this way to self-preserve. But like the whole time going, I would just rather have a conversation. I just wanted to throw away my questions because it was more enjoyable just laughing and going back and forth with you. But here's what I want to do. I want to give you the last word to share anything on your heart. But I also want you to plug, meaning promote, anything that you want to promote. So you get the last word. The floor is yours. And before I let you have the last word, gentlemen, it's good seeing you. Thanks for coming out. Anthony, what are you doing? You falling asleep? Did I put you to sleep? I put Anthony to sleep. I'm very disappointed. Very disappointed. I did not entertain Anthony. All right. Anyway, really good seeing you all. Thank you for all you do. I love the way that you show up, the work you do, and like I think you're both extremely talented gentlemen, and like I'm always here for you to do anything I can to support you. So thank you. Thank you for your contributions to what I do. Dr. Mohamed, the floor is yours. Mute. You got muted somehow. How'd that happen?
No, I'm not muted.
What kind of source? Now I can hear you. What kind of sorcery is going on here?
Hey, maybe it's still an energy, man.
I don't know.
So thank you so much for your time, Joshua. Thank you for allowing me on your program, Unmasking Humanity. Thank you for allowing my two boys to be on here, Anthony and Keshner. It was such a pleasure. Where do I begin? It's a great honor and a privilege to have had the opportunity to speak with you, to talk about all the things that we had the time to talk about within the time frame too. As you know, Estream is a creation that it's actually started April 16th of last year, and I literally typed the last word May 31st on my birthday. Got it copyrighted on September. And from that journey, it's literally been a journey. I've had the support of EdMaker, Megaminds, you, Jessica VR, Microtron AI. Those are just the companies who have supported me on this journey. When it comes to the people in my life who have supported me 100%, no failure, my daughter, Mr. Gaspard, the owner of this school, St. Anthony School of Higher Education, Wiley, parents, Eric, 100% I pick up a phone and I call them no matter anytime, day or night. They're always there. My students, I know I put them through so much when it comes to this and the technology aspect of it. They know it's also a learning experience for them and for me. They complain at times, but they still go through it with me. So it's they know it's a learning journey for both of us. We're going to get through it together. So thank you again for that. Thank you so much for it. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.